Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be learning about the poem Queen of Night, written by Terry Webb Harshman. Before we start, let me give you a brief explanation on how we will be doing this video. We will be learning about the poet, reading the poem. We will be understanding about the lines and stanzas in the poem. We will be analyzing the poem line by line. We will be looking at the theme of the poem. We will be identifying the figures of speech, which include poetic devices, figurative language, and literary devices. First, let us learn about the poet. Queen of Night is written by Terry Webb Harshman. She is a poet and writes novels, stories, and poems for children. She is popularly known to have written the story Porcupine's Pajama Party. Now let us read the poem. Queen of Night by Terry Webb Harshman. I am the moon, queen of night, riddle wrapped in borrowed light, a silver spool where dreams unwind, ancient orb as old as time. I masquerade, I wax and wane, forever changing, yet the same. I stir the tides with unseen hands, they ebb and flow from sea to sand. Father Sun may keep the day, I ride along the Milky Way, holding court with owls and bats, moles and voles, and backstreet cats. Within my tent, the very rest, puppies doze and sparrows nest. Children dream beneath my light. I am the moon, queen of night. Now let us look at how many stanzas and lines are in the poem. In total, there are 4 stanzas in the poem. Each stanza has 4 lines. So totally, there are 16 lines in the poem with 4 stanzas. Now let us analyze the poem line by line. Stanza 1. I am the moon, queen of night. Here the moon says that she is the queen of night. And she says, I am the moon. So here she is taking all the authority and calling herself queen of night. Riddle wrapped in borrowed light. Riddle means mysteriously. Wrapped means covered. In borrowed light. So here the moon is borrowing light from the sun. So this line means that the moon is covered in the sun's light. A silver spool where dreams unwind. Our dreams are like thread. So the moon has to unfold it for us. Now, why does she say silver spool? If you notice, the moon is either silver or gold. That is why the moon says silver spool. Ancient orb as old as time. Ancient means old. Orb means round. So here we can understand that the moon is old because she says ancient. Also here in this line, the moon is describing herself that she is round or she is in the shape of a ball. Ancient orb as old as time. As old as time means she is from the beginning. From the time the world began, the moon is there. I hope you have understood the first stanza. Let us move on to the second stanza. I masquerade means I am wearing a mask. So here the moon says that she is wearing a mask. And she also hides herself sometimes. I wax and wane. Waxing describes the moon's phases where the illuminated portion of the moon appears to be getting larger. Waning describes the phases where the lighted portion of the moon seems to be getting smaller. Here we can understand that the moon has the ability to control so many things. Forever changing, yet the same. Moon changes during her phases. Here, the moon changes in 3 quarters: full moon, half moon, and crescent moon. But the moon says that she is not taken away every time she changes. She is still the moon in full. I stir the tides with unseen hands. Tides means the rising waves. Here we can see the movements of the waves are also controlled by the moon. You will have either high tide or low tide. This means that the moon can stir the tides with her unseen hands. The moon pulls the tides by the gravitational force of the earth. They ebb and flow from sea to sand. Ebb means high tide, low tide, and flow means high tide. From sea to sand means from the sea to the seashore. Let us move on to stanza 3. Father, son may keep the day. Here we can see that the moon is giving the sun respect by calling him father. The father sun is looking after the day. I ride along the Milky Way. Here the poet is trying to open your mind to various possibilities, various scientific phenomena, and many other things that you can explore. Holding court with owls and bats. Owls and bats are nocturnal animals. The opposite of nocturnal is diurnal. Nocturnal animals sleep during the day. Hold court means having discussions. To hold court means to be the center of attention amidst a crowd of one's admirers. Moles and voles and backstreet cats. Moles and voles are a different type of animals. Stanza 4. Within my tent, the very rest. In the moon's tent, the tent can also mean the moon's light. The tired may take their rest. Moon comes during the night. That is when the people are asleep. Puppies doze and sparrows nest. In the moon's light, the animals rest along with the human. Puppies sleep with snoring sound and sparrows make their nests. Children dream beneath my light. Children sleep because of me. They are dreaming beneath the moon. I am the moon, queen of night. Here the poet is ending with the same first starting line, and the moon ends the poem with all authority. The theme in the poem Queen of Night is the poet is trying to teach scientific concepts through poetry. Now let us learn about the figures of speech, which include poetic devices, literary devices, figurative language. I have already done a detailed video about the 6 types of figures of speech. You can find the link to that video in the description box below, as well as the icon above. Simile. The poet uses simile in the first stanza, 4th line. Ancient orb as old as time. Why is this line a simile? Because the poet has used the word as. The moon compares herself to an ancient orb to being someone who was there in the universal from its very inception. Metaphor. This is a metaphorical poem. Personification. I am the moon, queen of night. This is a personification. Why? Because the moon gives herself human attributes or traits by calling herself the moon. I still tides with unseen hands. We can see this line in the second stanza, third line. This is also a personification because the moon is giving herself the human attribute or trait, hands. I masquerade. This line is in the second stanza, first line. This is also a personification because the moon is wearing a mask. Forever changing, yet the same. This is also a personification. Riddle wrapped in borrowed light. This is also a personification because the moon says that she is covered. Alliteration. This is in the first stanza, third line. A silver spool where dreams unwind. Silver spool. Second stanza, first line. I masquerade, I wax and wane. Wax, wane. Second stanza, fourth line. They ebb and flow from sea to sand. First stanza, fourth line. Ancient oak as old as time. Let us look at the next figure of speech, which is imagery. Puppies doze and sparrows nest. This is in the fourth stanza, second line. Why is this an imagery? Because visual, auditory, kinesthetic, etc. There are lots of imageries in the poem. You can identify it yourself. I have just given one example for your reference. Rhyme. Stanza 1, night, light. Unwind, time. Stanza 2, wane, same. Hands, sand. Stanza 3, day, way. Bats, cats. Stanza 4, rest, nest. Light, night. Repetition. I am the moon, queen of night. The poet uses these lines in the line 1 and 16. You can take any of these simile, metaphor, personification, alliteration, repetition, imagery, rhyme. You can take any of these as your poetic device. Also, don't forget to give it a reason. I hope you have enjoyed and understood the poem Queen of Night. Let us meet in another educational video. Till then, thank you and happy learning.